Cheyenne was home to the fastest growing small airport in America. And then came you know what. But we've dusted off our jeans and are back on our feet. Wonderful Flying is returning to Cheyenne in November with daily flights on a comfortable modern jet, but now direct to Denver, which has more connections to our top markets in the West Coast. Freedom and independence are back in time for Thanksgiving and Christmas. Skip I-25 traffic and enjoy free parking and non-existent lines. The Cheyenne Regional Airport.
Will the owner of a silver Nissan pickup please go and move your car? A silver Nissan pickup. Thank you. Okay. Hello, everyone. Hello. So welcome and good afternoon, everyone. We're pleased you've joined us today for the Chamber's November Luncheon. We have a great program lined up for you. Before we begin, I would like to thank Riverstone Bank for being today's presenting sponsor. We're so appreciative of your support. While we're speaking today, please feel free to take our poll on the screen. We'll do periodic live updates throughout the luncheon. Now, please join me in welcoming Chris Allred with Riverstone Bank to the stage.
Thank you. I appreciate that. So when we, as a bank, decided to sponsor this luncheon, I was pretty excited because, as many of you know, I work for Steve Hallingby, who is, in my opinion, the world's most interesting man, made famous by the Dos Equis commercial. I think is based loosely on him. You know, Norwegian immigrant with an Olympic pedigree, UW Hall of Famer. I mean, pillar of the community, obviously. And I've learned a lot about him over the last 5 years or so working with him and for him. But one thing I learned just 2 days ago, maybe, is that Steve doesn't always like to sponsor these luncheons, but when he does, he prefers to have someone else speak. So that's me. So I just wanted to take a few minutes to talk about Riverstone Bank. It's a new name. It's one that in most of my conversations, people ask, what is that? Who is that? And that kind of thing. So I'll give you my experience on it. Draw your attention a little bit to these postcards on the table with the tagline, community strong with the same people you know and trust. When I came here to work with not only Stieg, but also one of our guests at the table, Ron Van Vost, another pillar of our community as he led the bank for nearly 20 years. But I came to work for a bank called Security First Bank, which most of you remember, that was started in Cheyenne in 1978 as Security First Bank or Security First Savings and Loan. And I had the opportunity shortly after I got here to put together a social media program that we celebrated 40 posts for 40 years of Security First Bank. And I got to learn a lot about the bank and its history and its roots here in Cheyenne. So when it comes to community strong, 44 years now of the bank here, promoting and growing the community and being heavily entrenched in the community is what we mean by community strong. About a year ago in November, we merged with another bank from rural Nebraska and eastern Nebraska, which has been around since 1884. So even longer. And now we have 9 branches in this part of Wyoming, Colorado, and throughout Nebraska. So between us, we're a stronger bank, more community strong, and committed to that. And then on to the same people you know and trust. It was one of the requirements of the bank merger that the leadership here in Cheyenne and Laramie, our Wyoming market, remain unchanged. They wanted no part of seeing Stieg or any of our other community institutions leave. For example, Nancy Udell, who's here at our table, our East Branch manager, who's been with the bank for how many years, Nancy? 30 years. So it was a requirement that these people stay because these are the people you know and the people you trust. And like Nancy, it's not uncommon for many of our employees, our support staff, our loan officers, and those kind of things who have been with the bank for most of their career, if not all their career. We had our manager in Laramie retire a year or two ago. She'd been with the bank nearly 40 years, if I remember right. Just an absolute institution and something that has grown our roots as a bank deep into our communities, and we're really proud of that. So it's a new name, but things haven't changed. We're community strong with the same people you know and trust. We've appreciated your trust over the past 44 years in this community and even longer in others. And we plan to be here for as long as anyone wants us to be. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Chris. We'd also like to extend a special thank you to our other sponsors of today's luncheons. Our silver sponsors are Magic City Enterprises Incorporated, Premier Bone and Joint Centers, and then our bronze sponsors, iHeartMedia, New Vision Federal Credit Union, Meridian Trust Federal Credit Union, Holiday Motors Incorporated, Appaloosa Broadcasting, thank you so much to all our sponsors. What we do would not be possible without you. Now I'd like to welcome Jeff Gardner, president of Magic City, to tell us a little more about their upcoming annual Festival of Trees event.
At Magic City, we support people with intellectual and developmental disabilities and acquired brain injuries to do things that lead to a typical life of quality. The Festival of Trees is an annual event that supports Magic City Enterprises and the people with whom we work. Members of the community volunteer to decorate trees that are then put up for auction. The trees always amaze me. We've had Charlie Brown trees. We had a great abominable snowman tree, University of Wyoming cowboy trees, but also we'll have other silent auction items provided by other members of the community. So one of my favorite things about the festival is a lot of times people will come and buy trees and donate them to people that they know who might be in need. The proceeds of which go to the Magic City Enterprises Foundation. I love that feeling of community that the event provides.
Well, thank you for the opportunity. I appreciate Dale giving me just a minute, and I will be brief. I'm not in very good voice today, so that's good news for everybody, and I will certainly be brief. But we are at that time of year, and I love the holiday season, and I love Festival of Trees because it kicks off the holiday season. So as the video said, December 2nd at Little America. You can find tickets at our website at www.mcewyo.org. There are certainly sponsorships available. If you haven't heard from Amanda Peterson, if you'll wave your hand. If you've not heard from Amanda, I'm guessing you will be hearing from her. So please, come out and support people with intellectual and developmental disabilities as we now in our 51st year in Cheyenne. And certainly love being a part of this community and a part of this group, the Greater Cheyenne Chamber of Commerce. So we'd love to see everyone there.
Thank you so much, Jeff. Sounds like this is going to be a wonderful event. Now, please, let's welcome Kelly Sabias with Jonah Bank and the Red Carpet Committee to come forward to introduce our new members.
Hey, everyone. I hope everyone's having a good lunch. Real quick before we introduce all of the new members, I just would like to point out that anyone who is wearing red is a member of the Red Carpet Committee. And you might say, gee, Kelly, I'm wearing red and I'm not on the committee like Scott Fox. We notice you. This is your audition. You're doing really good. We'll send you an invite shortly. But what we do is we introduce new businesses at this dinner or this lunch. And we also go out into the community and do the red carpet cutting, the red committee carpet ribbon cutting. It's a lot in there. And that's where we just introduce new members to the business or to the chamber. And it's a really fun thing to get to know and meet new people. And so I would encourage anyone who's interested in doing something like that, please find someone in red and we'd be happy to invite you. Scott, you're first in line. And so with that being said, we're going to begin with the new businesses. Today, we have our first one, which is Prosper Public Relations. And here we have Haley McKee. She is with Prosper Public Relations, a full-service communication consulting firm working with a broad array of industry and governmental clients. Prior, Haley worked in the capacity of press secretary for the U.S. Senator John Barrasso and Cynthia Lummis. The first specialized business building and growth with social media strategy, establishing and protecting organizations' reputations and fostering stakeholder engagement. Prosper Public Relations is committed to producing unique, effective, and powerful campaigns. Awesome. Thank you. Welcome. The next we have Circle Y Home and Ranch, and we have Danielle Wrench. Circle Y Ranch is a one-of-a-kind home decor furniture store and gift shop. They strive to help shoppers create a unique home atmosphere. Their specialty modern farmhouse, neutral decor with loads of texture. They believe homes are the most important place to design a beautiful and spacious and original traditions. They are located in the heart of downtown Cheyenne, and their main goal is to create a vivid change in Cheyenne by becoming the Paris of the West. Once again, ready to be eclectically inspired, browse and shop at the Circle Y on 15th Street Home Decor Boutique. Welcome. Next, we have Billy Jack's Pizza, and with them we have Sherry Weber and Jessica Hurlbert. Looking for a fast, family, classy, and friendly, fun, casual dining experience? Dine at the Cheyenne Regional Airport for fresh ingredients and a great quality pizza, lunch, and dinner. Whatever you sink your teeth into, at Billy Jack's, you will always have a drink selection to go with. Place your order for food and drink. When you come in, sit, relax, and before you know it, the pizza's ready. Locally owned by 60 of our local community leaders, by the community, for the community. Sweet, welcome guys. The next business we have is Fortress Storage. And here we have John Watkins, Diana Stiles, and James Bowers. Fortress Storage is conveniently located in Cheyenne at 1919 Wyatt Drive, close to the I-25, I-80 interstate interchange. This self-storage facility has 450 units of varying size. We provide a state-of-the-art security system, including 24-hour video surveillance, coded gate entry, and as well as a perimeter fence. Staff is available on site 7 days a week to help you with all of your storage needs. Rent your unit online or stop by our office to start storing your stuff. Sweet. Next, we have Mountain West Technologies, and we have the Director of Business Development, Lesha Thorkelson. Mountain West Technologies is a Wyoming internet service provider bringing speed goat internet in the area. They have an office in both Cheyenne and Casper, customer support and tech support teams live, and they will work where you are. Recently, they added 11 new towers in the Cheyenne area. Their service is fast and more reliable to keep connecting Wyoming. Sweet, welcome. And the last one is Delia or Ty from 307 Extreme Cleaning here. Are you guys here? We'd really like to recognize you. We'll do it anyway. Can we? That's cool. Sweet. We're gonna do it. Started in 2021. They provide professional full exterior and interior vehicle service. People can take pride in their vehicle, take pride in the details of their work. They come to you, do the job at an affordable price. It makes them establish a great customer base by convincing their clients and building lifetime relationships. Book a commercial and or personal vehicle appointment for an extremely clean, new looking vehicle. Awesome. Hey guys. And that is all. Dale is up next.
So thank you. I do think he gets credit for being one of the more humorous announcer, right? So give him a round of applause. Anytime he can do his announcements and also recruit us a new red carpet member, that's all good. So I know your fellow red carpet members will appreciate that. Well, good afternoon, everyone. It's so good to see everyone here in November as we move into this holiday season and a season of Thanksgiving. You know, as the chamber director in Cheyenne, there are many things I am thankful for. And I want to share a couple of those with you today. The first thing I am thankful for is, so let me put it like this. None of us are anywhere unless we are standing on the shoulders of people that came before us. And I think if we all think about that in our careers and our business, we all know that's true. And so one of the things I am thankful for in Cheyenne is a legacy of leadership that has been on our board over time to stand on the next person's shoulders. And I look out and I see past chairman Mike Williams, Kevin Painter sitting over here. I know he still does work there. I'm sure there are others. Linda Wepner usually comes to these, but these guys worked hard. And they built something out of a chamber that was 700 members, struggling to pay its bills and wanting desperately to be recognized on a regional and national level. And they did good work. But I tell you this today because one of those chairmen, he's getting ready to move from here. And he's decided to go spend time. He's decided that his family is more important than me and the chamber, right? So I just want to take a minute to recognize him because we owe him a lot. I remember sitting having conversations with him when he was chair, when we were talking about having a lobbyist in DC, and it's like, oh my gosh, how are we ever going to come up with $100,000 to pay for our consulting? How are we going to do this? How are we going to grow this advocacy effort? And he like patted me on the shoulder and he said, we're going to do this, right? So I'd just like you to join me in giving a round of applause and a send off as he moves out of our community to Ron Van Vost. Ron, thank you so much for the great service that you gave this community. I think as we all think about it, there's a lot to be thankful for where we live. We live in a place where we wake up and we see the majestic snow-covered mountains, look to the east and see the golden prairies. It's a little rough right on the golden prairie when your cows are starving and it's been a dry year, but still yet it's a beautiful thing. But on a more personal level, right, we have a membership that supports this chamber, that is interested in their community, that fights for a better Cheyenne. And I know as a chamber staff, we are thankful for that. We're thankful for the many, many people who volunteer at our chamber because we can't do it without you. that if you look around, red carpet is one example of that, but we have other people that just go maybe unnoticed a lot of the time. I think of Bob Moe, and Bob, are you here? He is here. I saw him. Bob, wave. So one of the great things is Bob Moen and Vicky Peth, we get two like 3/4 time employees that they just come in and volunteer whenever they can, week after week, month after month, right? So I am very thankful for the people that believe in our mission. I'm thankful for my staff, right? You can't have a good chamber without a good staff. And I've got staff members that are committed to servant leadership and talk regularly about how they can serve our people. You know, and I'm going to name them, going to take a minute to name them because I think it's important. So Amber, who's our vice president, and Mary Jane, who does membership. Everybody knows Mary Jane, right? She's always holding court somewhere, wherever she goes. But you know, these programs take a lot of time. So Danny and Elizabeth, who do our marketing and do all of the videos and materials that you receive. I'm thankful for them. I'm thankful for Tia. Events are hard. I counted the other day, we've had more than 2,000 different individuals come to at least one event for us this year. Why don't you host 2,000 people at your house? Tell me how it turns out. So I'm thankful for Tia and the work she does. I'm thankful for Lindsay, who's relatively new to our staff, but she's picked up, dove in, and done a great job. Cece hasn't even started yet. So if you see Cece Morin, she is going to work for us. She got COVID this week and couldn't start. But if you know her and you see her, tell her welcome on our behalf. I guess that the last thing I would just, who did I miss? Oh my gosh, the most important person, the one that makes sure that we all get paid is Debbie Richardson. Debbie, wave. Nobody wants to forget Debbie. Thank you, Amber. This is why my staff is good, right? So I can't read my own handwriting is the problem. That's a personal problem. But lastly, I'd just like to thank all of you, right? Our members, the people that are committed to this community. It's not about what you do for the chamber. It's about driving the future of this region forward. And I'm deeply appreciative of all of you. So please give yourselves a round of applause and continue to support your region and your community. It's something we can all be proud of. Now, you know, after all that, I'm going to ask you for something, right? Not too hard, though. Right around the corner, the Christmas parade is coming up. And the only way we can do that parade is if we meet the number of volunteers that we are required by the city of Cheyenne. So we need you to sign up. You can have fun with this. Your business can do a street corner, do hot chocolate, serve it to the public, advertise, whatever. But we do have to have a number of volunteers to make this happen. I think about 70. So please, if you are here Thanksgiving weekend, you and your family can do it together. It's a fun time, unless it's 20 below, but even then it can be fun if you're active enough. So please consider that. Additionally, one of our fundraisers for the parade and how we pay for it is selling poinsettias. I always remind you every year that some of you guys, either you've got somebody in your office that you need to build a little goodwill with, or you've been in the doghouse with your wife. Perfect opportunity for a mere $30 to dig yourself a little out of the hole. So you'll see those sign up sheets on your table. You can also click to the QR code and go on there and order your poinsettias. Time is a wasting. So please get that done for us. Next, I would like to, so one of the members that they introduced today is a new member on 15th Street. This is a really cool store. So everybody talks about wanting downtown Cheyenne to improve. How you do that is go to the stores of people downtown. So they are going to have a ribbon cutting, but also drinks and food and music starting at 4 o'clock on November 10th. Circle Y Home and Ranch, thank you guys so much. And I know you'll go do good with that, but they have stuff that really fits Wyoming. And it's a cool, really cool store. So please put it on your calendar and get by there. And for some of you, 50% off, start Christmas shopping now. All right. Many of you are being contacted and have already volunteered for a membership event. So we look forward to that every year or every third year, I guess. So please be willing to volunteer for that and help us as we move forward. We got several of our chairmen here today. It's always a lot of fun and an inspiring event. So we look forward to that. Next month is our Women's Leadership Luncheon. So this is very important that we continue to recognize women's leadership in our community and hear from those ladies that have built careers here and have lifted others up with themselves to drive Cheyenne forward. So I hope you will get that on your calendar. For those of you that are involved in our advocacy efforts, we have a date for DC, January 24th through the 26th. We will be headed out to DC, visit with our consultant, visit our congressional delegation, and look at the things that Cheyenne needs and this region needs as we move forward. For those of you who haven't gone on that, talk to some of those that have. It's really a worthwhile event, and you will be amazed at what we can accomplish when we work together through this kind of a program. All right, free lunch drawing. So the free lunch today goes to Andrew Medina from Wyoming. That's a neat little play on words. Management. So Andrew, see my staff, and you'll get your free lunch. Even with inflation, there's enough money in the half pot today to take the chamber staff out for drinks or dinner or something. All right. Two, 7, 9, 3, 4, 1. That's totally you. So I am also thankful for incoming chairs that get duties like before they're supposed to. So Paula Poitras got told at the first of the week, hey, I'm going to be out of town, Stephen said, and she graciously stepped in. So please welcome her back to the stage and thank the next chairman of the Greater Cheyenne Chamber of Commerce, Paula Poitras.
Thank you, Dale. We have a great presentation for you today. Transportation is a hot topic of conversation in our community. Air service and the airport have been and continue to be an important part of our economic development portfolio. We're so pleased to have a partner at the helm of the airport that is a friend to business, understands the importance of the military in our community, and most importantly, is a great community partner as we work to move Cheyenne forward. We're pleased today to welcome our speaker, who is that partner and friend to the Chamber and the business community. Please join me in welcoming Tim Bradshaw, Director of the Cheyenne Regional Airport, to visit with us today.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Tim Bradshaw, and I have the honor and privilege of serving as your Director of Aviation for the Cheyenne Regional Airport. This is the first opportunity I've had to speak publicly to each and every one of you. And I want to express to you that how much I appreciate the kindness and the welcome that I've received over the last few months. Cheyenne is a wonderful place to live. People are very polite, very friendly here. So thank you very much for that. Now, I would like to ask each and every one of you, if you can, please stand up for a minute, please. All right. Please take a moment to turn around and introduce yourself to somebody you don't know. You see, This is what I love about Cheyenne. I just wish I'd discovered Cheyenne 20 years ago. It's a wonderful community. And you know, it takes a community to make the airport successful. I can't do it by myself. The board can't do it. It takes a community of people to help us. I look around the room and I see a lot of people that are partners of ours in this endeavor of trying to make the airport successful. I saw Max Care with Burns Insurance back there in the back, Kimberly Douglas with Appaloosa Broadcasting, Pete Illaway, who used to be on the board. A lot of partners it takes to run this airport here. And there are people that really put forth a lot of effort to make the airport successful. And if you would give me just a moment to introduce some of these people so you know who they are. So I'm going to ask you to stand when I do call your name. But first of all, we're pleased to have two of our board members here today. The president of the board is Kim Brokaw. Kim, please. Kevin Paintner. Thanks, Kevin. I know Keith Zapka is not here, Carrie Ryerson, and we have Dr. Jeff Story. Now, just remember, these people are volunteers. They don't get paid to serve on the board. They do it because they love their community and they want to see it grow and prosper like everyone else here. Oh, sorry, back up. I forgot the most important people here, the staff. These are the people that actually get things done every day there. They're the ones that keep the airport running day to day, especially last night when we had a challenge of the snowfall that we weren't expecting. We were only supposed to get a couple of inches last year. So I'd like to introduce you to those folks. First of all is Jennifer Nelson. She is our Director of Finance. Next to her is Mike Miller. Mike Miller runs Legend Aero, which is our fixed-based operation. They handle all of our private aircraft coming in and out. And Cliff Cox, Director of Operations and Maintenance. This guy, he can fix anything. He can fix anything. The guy used to work on missiles, so he can pretty well fix anything. So, and then I'd also like to introduce you to Laura Brewer. She helps us out in the office. She keeps all of us straight. Thank you, Laura. And then one more person before I jump in here. This person is one of the most hardworking people in the community that support this airport, and she does not get paid. She does it because she loves the community, and that's Wendy Bolt. Thank you, Wendy. Okay, let's jump right in here. Okay, as you know, we have 2 flights a day with SkyWest on United Express that operates into Denver. Denver is the 5th largest hub in the United States. Many of you might not be aware of that. They also are home to 2 of the biggest 4 airlines in the United States, which is United and Southwest. Years ago, believe it or not, I know I don't look old enough, but I actually worked for Pan Am, and Pan Am flew into the history books many, many years ago. We used to have lots and lots of airlines. Now we're really down to 4 major airlines that control 85% of the traffic, and that's Delta, American, United, and Southwest. The other 15% is handled by carriers like Allegiant, like Spirit, and Frontier Airlines. But those are the 4. All the consolidations and mergers have led to just 4 airlines controlling most of the air service. So we have United with service to Denver. You know, it's tough for us. I want to tell you, Cheyenne is a small market. We don't have the luxuries of having a lot of airline service coming in here. We have a lot of people that fly out of here, and I'll show you those numbers here in a minute, but it's always tough for us. We are at the bottom of the food chain, unfortunately, when it comes to the airlines. We just don't produce enough revenue that they're really interested in. But with the help of people, your support and the MRG that we have, we do have service going through there now. And part of that effort is led by the group called the Cheyenne Regional Air Focus Team. This is comprised of local citizens who help us secure the funding to have United Express service. This funding came about with the 6-penny ballot. Thanks to all of you who voted for the 6-penny ballot. Laramie County, Wyoming Department of Transportation, and Visit Cheyenne, and I forgot one, which is the Joint Powers Board as well too, that they give funding as well too there. The members of that committee, you'll recognize a lot of these names. Lori Shaney, I saw Lori here earlier. Jim Wilkinson, Betsy Hale, Dominic Bravo, Don Erickson, Wendy Volk, and Steve Reynolds. Appreciate all that they've done. They led the effort in getting the 6-penny ballot passed every last year. As a small market, we have to fight for every seat, and we do everything we can because it's really an economics issue. It's a supply and demand. The more that we can increase the demand, the more the airlines will meet that that's with supply. So we're going to continue to push to get people to fly out of Cheyenne whenever you can. You know, I understand why people fly out of Denver, you've got a lot of choices there, especially if you're going international. We lose approximately 97% of our traffic driving to Denver. This is a picture of the Great Hall. Even if you flew out of Cheyenne, just to avoid that security line at the Great Hall in Denver, I have TSA pre-check, and I was number 100 in a line one day trying to get through that security. You know, that's the best part about it. When you fly out of Cheyenne, you know, you get into Denver, you can have something to drink, something to eat, and catch your flight and move on. But the best part that I always tell everyone is when you get home. The last thing you want to do, you've been traveling, you want to get home, you want to be with your pets, be with your family, sleep in your own bed. The last thing you want to do is go find your car and then drive 2 hours to get back to Cheyenne. When you land in Cheyenne, you're home. You're 10 minutes from your house. That's the best part about flying out of Cheyenne. But we're facing a lot of struggles. Again, whenever there's an incident in the country like 9/11 or recession or the COVID pandemic, it really hurts small markets, and airlines continue to contract. And we're seeing a lot of markets losing their service through the years, but hopefully we'll be able to hold on to ours. But it's a real, I don't know if you've flown lately, but it's a real struggle. The planes are full. There's not much capacity. If there's a flight delay or cancellation, they don't have the extra flights or pilots out there to fly the airplane. So if any of you are flying for the holiday season, I encourage you to have patience as you travel. They parked a lot of airplanes. They bought a lot of retirement pilots who were nearing retirement. They bought their retirement out. So it's been a very, very, very struggle with flying. And I think this year it's going to be even harder. High fuel prices, high airfares. It's a tough road facing us there. Let me share with you some numbers about our market. Back in the spring, we did what's called a passenger demand analysis. And what you're looking at here is what we call our catchment area. And all those little dots represent 5 people. And we get this information through your cell phones, through your computers. And you can see where we are, Cheyenne, Scotts Bluff, Laramie to the west here. The majority of people fly Denver. We know that. But we actually pull people from Fort Collins, believe it or not. Now, the column on the right there, see if I can see it on this side here. This is the true passenger, sorry. So if you look at that graph there on the right, we only capture 3% of the traffic. So about 8,000 passengers. This is what we got out of the extended region. We have the extended region and we have the core region. Some fly out of Scotts Bluff, the majority again flying out of Denver. But as you can see, in our region, in our catchment area, there's over 1 million passengers that fly out of this region every year. This data we get from cell phones and from computers. It tells us everything about you. I don't know if you know it, but your cell phone carries so much information now. It tells you how much money you make, your education level, all the demographics on the passengers. So we're able to mine that data. So with this data, we share this with the airlines to try to convince them to bring their airplanes to Cheyenne. So what you're seeing here is the top origination and destination markets for Cheyenne. Now that number, 174 PDEW, that's passengers daily each way. Every day in this region, we have 174 people flying back and forth to Cheyenne to Phoenix. Is that surprising? I mean, I know a lot of people have second homes in Phoenix, but that's a lot of passengers going in and out of this market. And I always remind people too that it's not only where we're going. We always think about where our trip's going, where we want to go. Think about the people trying to get to Cheyenne. These are people that this is passengers daily each way. So that's passengers coming back and forth to our market. You know, I remind everybody that this puts us on the world map. When somebody in Sri Lanka with the click of a mouse can buy a ticket to Frontier Days. That's why it's important to maintain this air service that we have in this community, because it puts us on the world map. These are the top 5 markets that we have. Los Angeles, we had Dallas service before with American. It did very well. But right now, the airlines, we show them the numbers. We show them what the market is, but they are not in expansion mode right now. They're just trying to catch up from the pandemic. So we show them this. We've got a good chance of Vegas, believe it or not, a flight to Vegas and a flight to Phoenix. But always remind people, this is a marathon. It's not a 50-yard dash. We have to be patient and wait to get the service there. But we can make the business case to the airlines that the market's there, then they will come. Many of you have seen the new passenger terminal. Thanks for everyone who supported that. It's a beautiful facility. It's open, it's spacious. I think it really reflects our community here. This is the baggage claim area here. We started to showcase more and more things in our terminal to show visitors when they come here. You know, I remind everyone that an airport is often the first thing you see and the last thing you see when you visit a community. People get off that airplane, the first step in Wyoming is coming in through that terminal. And we want the terminal to reflect who we are, to show people that. I know you travel around, you fly into different airports, and you get a sense of the community in the airport. And that's why we've embarked on this arts program. Here's the hold room that we have. We can accommodate a lot of large aircraft. We do get a lot of diversions from Denver, but we have one hold room, 2 gates that can handle a lot of passengers. And we actually get a lot of Denver diversions. We're one of the top airports that gets diversions from Denver when they get socked in with weather. Congratulations to Billy Jacks for opening up. We're so glad to have you guys there. We've got a big event coming up Tuesday night, an election night party going on there. We've had music there. It's a great place to hang out. I encourage all of you to come there if you get a chance to. I hope someday that we might be able to do an outdoor patio where people can come out and have some pizza and a beer and watch some airplanes take off and land. And as I mentioned, the arts in the terminal, and I see a couple of partners back there, Anna Build-A-Back with Powder River Gallery. I thought I saw Desiree earlier. Desiree is here as well too. So we've been partnering with the Arts Council. Again, this is what we want to reflect to people coming into our community, the art, the heritage, the culture that we have here. And as I mentioned with Mike Miller, he runs our private aviation. This is part of the airport that a lot of people aren't familiar with. But this is where corporate America comes in to the airport. We get a lot of corporate jets coming in to Cheyenne through our facility there. Believe it or not, we do a lot of cargo business. This is an airline that's based there that provides cargo operations feeder for FedEx. And everyone will know that knows me knows that I like cargo aviation the best. The boxes come in, the boxes go out. There's no complaining about lost luggage or delayed flights. They just come and they go. So really like that a lot. As a veteran, I appreciate the military in this town. I don't think there's a flight, either private or public, that goes out of here that doesn't have somebody associated with the military. They are a big part of our operation. That runway project that we're doing right now, we got help from the military to help fund that project as well too. But we're so glad to have these folks here. They're a great part of our community. We get a lot of aircraft that come in and out, flying across country as well. And another aspect of our business you might not be aware of is we have a life flight helicopter there, UC Health Flight. It's nice to know that they're there in case we're ever needed for emergencies. And we offer flight training. You know, it's really not that hard to learn how to fly. If you can drive a car, you can fly an airplane. And I would encourage any of you, especially young adults, or if you have children that are getting out of high school or going to college, right now there's a huge demand for pilots. It's a great job, great pay. So we have a flight school that can get you started. You earn your wings that way, and you can go on to fly larger airplanes. Now I'd like to talk about some of the projects that we're working on. Passenger boarding bridge. We actually put in the application the other day to install a passenger boarding bridge. I've learned in Cheyenne, we get a little weather once in a while here, you know, like yesterday in the winds. So, and again, going back to this first impression, we want people when they come off of that airplane to see the community. And I really think it's necessary that we install a boarding bridge on the airport. We applied for the funding. Hopefully we'll have this installed by Christmas of next year. The runway project, it's been a real challenge. It's been a real struggle getting that done. It happens every 50 years. It just happened on our watch this time, and I don't plan on being here when the next time it needs to be done. But we've got another contractor lined up to finish the final phase next year. We had two years worth of construction. It really put a constraint on us. We lost a lot of money. We couldn't fly the airplanes full because of the runway project. It's been a real struggle for all of us. But it has to be done. The infrastructure was failing. So next year, we're going to finish the final phase 3 of the runway. Hopefully, we won't have as much impact to the operations, but this will be done hopefully by October 23, and then we can move on from there. We'll concentrate on other projects. The control tower, believe it or not, is 20 years old, but it's got some issues. We have to do some upgrades and some rehabilitation of that building. We applied for a grant. Both of these projects I'm talking about now, the tower and the next one, we applied for grants through the bipartisan infrastructure law to get funding for this. So none of the local tax dollars will be used to support these projects. But the tower, it does need some work, and hopefully we'll get the funding for that. And here's one that I've really kind of grown to love over the last few months. It's such an iconic building. I hear from people in the community all the time. They'd like to see it stay. How many of you would like to see it stay? Got a lot of memories there. I see some people don't really care for it, but it's really, it's a great facility. We feel like it's got good bones. I think we could go in there, we can gut it, put glass all the way around, really turn it into a nice facility, maybe make it into a multi-use facility. Working with the Arts Council, they applied for a grant to help us with the design, but we could put a lot of things in there. We could, you know, it's endless possibilities. We could put a historical section on it, a creative culture center, a radio station, a restaurant, you name it. So we're going to continue to pursue that and see what could come out of that. And we could also use it for an aviation component with the general aviation. The other project, with the help of the voters last year, is that we're going to redo our parking lot. This was taken before the airline service started back up, but right now both lots are full. The gravel lot, we got people parking in the grass, which is a good project to have. But with the 6 penny ballot money, we'll be able to extend the parking lot out. And that project will be complete as well again next year. Now, you've heard from me. Now I'd like to hear from you on what we can do better. Questions? Sir. Thank you. Thank you. Absolutely. Thank you. I think it's important for the future of our community. It's important for our kids, our grandkids to have that opportunity. Someone else, please. I love the questions. The questions, I get more from the questions than I could ever share with you. Yes, ma'am. It'll start in April. I've learned in Cheyenne, we have a small window of construction time. So hopefully by April, hopefully we'll wrap it up by October. Yeah. Sir? All right, I'm gonna try to see if this works. Okay, so the first section they did in 21 was this portion right here. And then this past year, we had to do the intersection of the two runways. So we had to close the secondary runway because the intersection was being done. So the third phase will be this section all the way down towards Converse Avenue. That'll be the final phase of it. And we owe a great deal of gratitude for all of our elected officials, Senator Lummis, Senator Brasso, and others who helped us secure the funding for this. It's about a $64 million project. Again, no local tax dollars were used for that. When you buy a ticket on an airline, there's a tax that's attached to it, and that's where the funding comes from, is for these types of projects. Yes. The military was less impacted because of the capabilities of the C-130. When I was in the Coast Guard, I've seen C-130s land on just about anything. It doesn't need a lot of runway to take off or to land as well. And that's a remarkable airplane. I think that airplane's gonna be around long after we're gone. It's phenomenal. But they weren't impacted as much. It just had to taxi a long way to get around to the runway. That's correct. Fortunately for us, the National Guard staffs the tower. It's one of 6 or 7 towers that they operate across the country. And they use it for a training facility to train air traffic controllers. So if they have to go to the Middle East or wherever around the world, they can deploy those air traffic controllers to operate there. So we are thankful to have them there. Also, the National Guard provides our crash, fire, and rescue for the airport as well, too. So again, that partnership with the military is so important for the airport. Yes, ma'am. Well, thank you for that question. She's asking about the old terminal and what our timeline is for developing it. We applied for the funding through the federal grant process, and we should hear something hopefully in March of next year, and maybe a grant award by the fall. We applied for $16 million to renovate that facility there. We gave kind of a high number because with costs the way they are now, it's hard to predict what those costs will be, though. But that's what our hope is too. And when the time comes, we really want the community to weigh in on this. The airport belongs to the community. It doesn't belong to me. It doesn't belong to the board. It belongs to the community. We want to hear from the community on what they would like to see in that facility. Pete. Thank you, Pete. And I'll tell you that the flights are full, and I encourage you, if you do try to fly to Cheyenne, to try to book early. I'm going to share with you a couple of secrets when it comes to booking your tickets. One is the optimal time. The record show is 6 weeks out from the departure date. That's the optimal time to buy a ticket. Also, when you're doing a search on your computer, erase your cookies, because as soon as you go off and come back, guess what? The fare went up. So they're watching what you're doing. So erase your cookies like that, and watch for sales affairs. And I talked about it earlier, flying out of Denver. There's a lot of reasons why people fly out of Denver. 42% of our market uses Southwest out of Denver. But Southwest doesn't have commuter airlines that connect with them. But international flights, everything. But it just, again, try to fly out of Cheyenne whenever you can, and try to book early when you can. Yes, sir. That's a great question. Thank you for asking that. Unfortunately, it looks like it could be closed to airline service, but we're working on alternatives with SkyWest and United to have someone else maybe possibly fill in for them. Because the worst thing you can do, I've realized living here that the community has had kind of, they had Great Lakes was kind of left some challenges for the community when it comes to air service, and we seem to overcome that. Like right now, our reliability rating is 98% flying on United Express. So the worst thing we can do is shut down air service completely. So we're going to try to work with United to find an alternative for us during that period of time. Yes, sir. To Denver, we're having those conversations now. Thanks for that question. So once we reach like a 70 to 80% load factor, and we're around 60 now. I know the morning flight's busy, but once we're getting closer and closer, I can tell by the parking lot how full we are, how full the flights are. So we're having those conversations now. Hopefully that SkyWest can add a third flight back and forth to Denver. Kevin? Thanks, Kevin. Appreciate that. A lot of people don't realize that we're really landlords at the airport. We have over 40 businesses that are located at the airport. We have the DEA, we have the National Weather Service. We've got a lot of companies, a lot of associations. Those are important. I've really grown to appreciate one of my predecessors. I know Dale was talking about how we ride on the people that came before us, but Jerry Olson did a lot for this airport when he was here. And he established a revenue stream with some of the development around the airport. And now we've partnered with Number One Properties to try to develop more of our property. But we have about 600 jobs that are related to the airport, and we have about 40 businesses that are located out there as well too. And we certainly encourage more and more of that. Yes, ma'am. It takes 40 hours of actually flying the airplane. So, yeah. It's really not that hard. I mean, if you can drive a car, you can fly an airplane. It's just learning the machine. Taking off is easy. Yeah, landing is the problem. So, yeah, that's always the hard part. But it's really not. It's like operating any kind of thing. You learn it. You learn the rules of the road. It's a little nerve-wracking when you do your first solo flight. When they feel like that you are ready to land it and take it off on your own. They say, okay, here you go. And you take off and there's nobody to help you get it back down. You have to bring the airplane back. So, yeah, but it's really not that hard. I mean, I know it seems intimidating, but it's really not. Yes, Tony. The whole aviation industry is really in need of a lot of workers, a lot of people. Another one too is drone flying. You know, a lot of the young people nowadays have this great hand-to-eye coordination playing video games. And there's a huge demand for flying unmanned vehicles. So air traffic controllers, pilots, all of those jobs. If you've got young people in high school, again, I would certainly encourage them to look in the field of aviation. I believe somebody over here had a question. Over here? No? Yes, sir. No. Unfortunately, we don't, and we need that. We've been talking about that internally with our staff about having some kind of cybersecurity. I feel like our systems are in place, our firewalls are in place, but you know, whenever you use a public Wi-Fi, you know you're taking a risk when you do that. But we are looking at that. That's something we need to address. Yes, Charles. Yes, we've been working with, again, Appaloosa Broadcasting is one. They've got many radio stations around here. I don't know, have any of you seen the billboards on I-25? Thank you. But we're also work with ABC 25 and their markets as well too. Again, I was a little surprised at how many people we actually pull from Northern Colorado. Parking's free. It's easy to get in and out of as well too. I'm hoping next year though that as things get a little bit better, hopefully we can recover, the airline industry can recover, that we'll have some announcements for some additional service coming up. Kim? Yes. Yes. Sorry for that clarification. The staff I know is looking at me like, because they know how IT challenged I am anyway. So I can't even hardly do a spreadsheet. So yeah, the airlines are the information that they're the ones who share, they have that information for them, but we don't really have any information that we keep. Yeah. Thanks for that, Kim. Gavin, did you have something? Okay. Well, Allegiant is a good possibility for us because it's less than daily service. It's 2 times a week. They don't really make money off the airfare. You can't make money off a $69 airfare to Las Vegas. They make their money off of hotels, casinos, the packages that they offer. So Allegiant, along with other airlines we've talked to, are interested in our markets. We just have to continue to make the business case to them. And that's why I showed that slide with our top destinations, because we really need to focus our efforts on what we can sustain and what we can support in the long run. And we know those markets. We know Dallas. Dallas was a great market for this airport. I imagine it has a lot to do with the oil and gas industry, but we just have to keep reminding them that the market is here. Yes, Tom. Scott? Yes, thanks, Scott. When you look at economic impact, every dollar that's spent in travel and at the airport is another $7. It's reinvested back into the community. And I know the folks here would prefer to fly out of Cheyenne. They don't want to fly out of Colorado. But when you keep the money here, you keep it reinvested in the community, it helps all of us to grow here. So that's the number that I've been told is $1 for every $7 that's reinvested in the community. Anybody else? I really appreciate the thank you so much.
Thank you, Tim. I'm an airline brat and I love airplanes and all this is so cool. I love that. We appreciate you taking the time to share all those exciting things going on with our Cheyenne Airport. It's a huge asset to our community, and with the growth that Cheyenne is experiencing, this only adds to the strength of the Cheyenne community. We look forward to the future and growing with all of Cheyenne's modes of transportation. Thank you all for joining us today. We look forward to seeing everyone at our 32nd annual Christmas parade, where we will kick off the Old West holiday season, and our December luncheon, when we will award our Women's Leadership Award. The Director of Workforce Services, Robin Cooley, will be our speaker for this event. And in the meantime, please have a blessed Thanksgiving and a very profitable November.